Hey guys, welcome back to MiahsBug. On this episode, we're going to start doing the floor tubes for the roll cage. So let me flip the camera around, let you guys see what's going on here. Okay, we've got the car all mocked up. We've got the suspension in the rear. We've got the suspension in the front. I am starting to work on the triple bypass shocks up front. But it's starting to get cold outside, and here where I live, we get snow, and I want to get this body back inside the garage. So in order to do that, I need to get the floor tubes at least installed in this pan. So I'll be running the tubes from here, bend here, over, bend up into my rear pivot tube. And once I get that one and the other side in, I'll be able to put the body back on. And that'll allow me to start working on the rest of the roll cage. So stay tuned. Let's get this thing done. So this is the Maestro roll cage. I just wanted to give you guys a brief overview of what the cage is going to look like, the initial design. Obviously, this is not set in stone, and this can change as the build progresses. But everything here in red is 1.5" 120 wall. Everything in blue is 1.5" 090 wall. And the two small pieces of purple, that's 1¼ 120 wall. The two pieces that we're going to be installing today are going to be this one and this one. These are the two lower tubes that attach the pivot tube in the rear section all the way forward into the front bulkhead. The first thing I need to do is take a couple of measurements and get some angles for the bend at the aft side and the bend at the forward side. I really like using this digital angle gauge that I got at the Home Depot for 20 bucks. Then I'm going to move on, get the tubing all cleaned up. I'm just using regular old alcohol, rubbing alcohol here, and getting off all the oils that come from the manufacturing. I then set the tube in place and decide where I want to make my bend and mark it. I am using an affordable bender. I'm still on the fence whether I really like this bender or not. It has a 7-inch bend radius, which is pretty large, but it seems to make nice bends and it works. Also, guys, I film these over multiple days at a time, so you'll notice I change clothing quite a bit. Once you take the slop out of the system, then you can zero your digital angle finder and then make the bend that you want. Check the angle of your first bend, make sure you like it, and make your second bend. Once you get all the bends done, make sure they're symmetrical, and then you're ready to notch them. I bought a 3D printed Centurial tube notch template maker, and it works really well, and I actually prefer it over using my tube notcher. The two tubes are welded in. We have the one here, one on the other side. It's just a few inches out from the end here. I welded the tops only right now. I got to get underneath and lay on my back and weld the bottoms. I'm going to add one more tube from here over to here to support this end fitting here. The first bend I made was at 13¼ degrees. I ended up coming out 6 inches from my reference mark and then another 1.5 inches to the start of the bend. So 7.5 inches to the start of the bend. And then all the way up here, I did a 19.5 degree bend, and that is angling into my front section support. So this is all 1.5" 120 wall, and I'm going to be doing the same for this support I'm going to add in. Then I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to cut the entire rear section out of the back of the Bug. That will just give me access to everything I need to get to for adding all my structure, my tubing, My engine, transmission, shifter linkage, everything will be accessible. And then I'll just, before I start driving, I'll try to seal it up as best I can with some aluminum or sheet metal, carbon fiber sheet, something. Well, there she is. You can now see through the entire car. The whole back section is cut out. Down here, I just cut into this corner here because this is where my tube's gonna stick through. Right here, into my pivot tube, and then I just cut right along this seam in the body, all the way back. And then I left a flange here so I can tie in if I need to. And I did the same thing over there. Oh yeah, one more thing. I decided not to add any internal bracing in here. I know the body's gonna flex and move around and stuff. Shouldn't be a problem. I'll just realign it. I made some alignment marks out here. But shouldn't be a problem as long as I get the doors functioning properly before I secure it all down. Should be fine. I've got the body back on, and I'm ready to start bolting it down so I could do the rest of the inside roll cage. Here's a little tip. You can take your old hardware, all this old rusty junky stuff, and you throw it in one of these tumblers. If your kids have these, throw some blasting media in there and just let it tumble for an hour or two, and then pull out your hardware, and it ends up looking pretty good. You just throw some oil on here, some anti-seize, you're ready to install them. So flip this sucker on. Let's do it. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap up this video. We've got the 2 floor tubes in. They came out really nice. The body sat right on. I had to trim a couple spots in the back to get it to bolt up. It wasn't a big deal at all. These are the areas here, but you can see how they fit in. Everything looks really good. So I am now ready to, the next thing I got to install is the B pillar. Once I get the B pillar in, then I'll be able to run my bars forward, down for my A pillar, and all the rest of the tubing that has to go in here. So there's a lot of work to still do, but this is a good starting point. Body is bolted back on. So we'll see you in the next video, so catch you later.